Today, we are going to talk about Stephen King's newest book, Never Flinch. So, this one is a crime fiction. This book also features the return of one of King's beloved characters, Holly Gibney. The story follows, there's like two running storylines going on in it, and then at the end, they kind of intersect. There is a man who was murdered in prison, and he was innocent. He was convicted of a crime that he did not commit. And once this occurs, there's this man who takes this very badly, and he had been going to AA meetings. He doesn't really say anything about this. There is this guy, though, that goes to his meetings. They call him Rev Mike. He was a reverend who was addicted to like opiates and whatnot. And he was just kind of told him like he was having a bad day because someone he knew had died in lockup. So that's the only thing he said about it. So we get his viewpoint from this as well. He decides that due to this, he is going to kill 13 innocents and one guilty because of the Blackstone rule, which is rather that 10 guilty go free rather than one innocent suffer. So there's that's his reasoning for this. So he decides he's just going to start killing innocent people. And thus starts our story. And so he sends a letter and he signs it Bill Wilson. He sends it to the police. And the police also like kind of end up sending it to another police officer. So there's a couple people that get a hold of it. There's some detectives. The letter says this. And so people are like, what the F? Do you think this guy's bluffing? Do you think he's serious? They don't really know at first. But then it turns out an innocent is killed. Just some lady who was running in the park and was by herself. And they find her, and in her hand, they find a scrap of paper with a name on it. And they think that this might be the guy that's connected to this letter. So the person on this case is Izzy James, or Isabel James, and her partner is Tom Atta. So they started on this case. Izzy is friends with Holly Gibney. Holly Gibney runs a detective agency called Finders Keepers, and those two kind of like became kind of close. In the prior book, Holly, if you've read that, with the old cannibal people, thought it would keep them young or whatever to eat people. So that's when they kind of became close. So Izzy's like, she knows that Holly has these like weird, really great ways that she connects things and puts stuff together. So she decides she's going to kind of run some of this stuff by Holly just to get her feedback on it and what she thinks. Holly, her business right now is to find some stolen jewelry from like that might be in pawn shops and whatnot. So she doesn't really have a whole lot going on that's super exciting with Finders Keepers. So she's like, yeah, run this by me. I'll see what I can figure out. Then they start kind of like collaborating a bit, and Holly gets more and more into this, even though it's not her case. And stuff escalates as more and more people die, more innocents are killed. So, yeah, the next two victims end up being these two winos that would hang out behind this laundromat, and they have a scrap of paper with a name on it in their hand. And eventually, they connect the scraps of paper. The names are of the jurors who convicted the guy who died. So this guy's just killing randoms. He's not actually killing the jurors. He's killing innocent people because in his mind, there's like this whole rationale to it and whatnot. So that's going on. So that's like one of the storylines. The other one follows this author who her name is Kate, and she is a feminist. She's all about woman power, and she wrote this book called A Woman's Testament. And she is on a tour. She's filling out arenas. And when she goes to these venues, most of the people are there to hear about her, but she also has like, the pro-life people who are there booing her and whatnot. So there's a lot of people who really hate her. And so one day she sends her assistant out to go get her a newspaper, and her assistant goes out and is attacked by some woman with red hair, which might have been a wig. This happens. She ends up having to go to the hospital. She's okay. And then they start getting these threats, and the threats start to escalate, where at some point it seems like this crazy McCrazerton wants to kill Kate. They start having to have security with them, and then they get to a point where because she is about women's rights and about women power, and she decides that having like a male security escort is just kind of a bad look for what she is trying to bring to the table here. So she ends up hiring Holly Gibney. So Holly becomes her bodyguard. So you have this storyline now that we're following too, how Holly has to protect this woman and try to figure out who is this person that's trying to kill her? What's the reasoning behind it? What is it? And it seems like a lot of religious fanaticism, which is behind this one. The other guy just seems like, with the other thing, with the killing of the 13 innocents, he's just like crazy McCrazerton pants. And so you're like, okay, so now you have these two separate storylines. And then at the end, they come together, which I thought that worked out pretty well. I really enjoyed this book. I don't read a ton of crime fiction. I do love King. I love his writing. I love the way he writes. I love the way he draws you into a story, how he develops his characters. Like, it's always really good. Sometimes endings aren't always the greatest. I thought this one had a pretty good ending. It felt kind of like classic King. I really liked the characters. I liked how stuff intersected. The whole time I was definitely engaged trying to figure out, okay, how are they going to catch on to who this person is and like what's going to lead them along the lines. So it's crime fiction. It's kind of a mystery too. If you like Holly Gibney, definitely read it. If you like Stephen King, yes. If you're a fan of crime fiction, go do it. Trying to think of negatives to this. I guess maybe having those two storylines, for some people, they might not like that. That would be the only negative. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was hard to follow at all. I didn't get anything confused with the different people and whatnot because they're pretty different in what's happening. Just a overall great King raid. So what will my next King read be? I think it's gonna be Eyes of the Dragon. So I'm gonna go way back and go into the older King. I'm not sure when exactly I'm gonna read that, but I do want to do that soon. If you've read Never Flinch, let me know what your thoughts of it were, and also like what you thought about the two different storylines, and then did you like how it connected at the end? What were your thoughts on that? So, if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.